Hi everyone, I wanted to show you how to check yourself for abdominal separation or diastasis recti. So it is important to check yourself after having a baby, or if you can get a professional to check for you. Obviously the reason being that if you do have a separation of the abdominals, we shouldn't be doing any sort of flexion of the abdominals, so like abdominal curls, that kind of thing, or any planks, movements where you put quite a lot of strain on the abdominals. So it's always really good to check before you start doing any sort of more intense exercise or anything. So what I want you to do first of all is obviously just lift up your top so that you've got access to your belly button. You might just need to fold your waistband down a little bit here as well. Okay, so you want to be able to feel sort of from the base of the ribs, so the bottom of the rib cage, and then all the way down the belly. Now you want to use 2 fingers and push down that way rather than that way. Okay, so start off just underneath your breastbone, and then you're just working your way right down the midline of the belly, so all the way over your belly button, and be firm when you're pressing down. And what you're feeling for is any squishiness. Okay, now you may be able to feel either side of the rectus abdominis here as well. Okay, and once you've done that, if you bring your backhand by the side of your head, now I want you to push your head into your hand and just gently curl up, but you want basically the arm or the hand to take the weight of the head. Now we're going to repeat that same thing again now. So we're checking down and feeling for any gap either side of the abdominals. So we're going right the way down, about 1 inch below the belly button as well. And you're feeling for a gap, but you're also feeling for how squishy it might be in the middle. So you might be able to get your finger in quite a way. There might be sort of just, no grip or anything there, which obviously is a sign of separation. Just working your way up and down. You might notice that you may be weaker in some areas, so you might be weaker over the belly button, which tends to be quite a common spot. And you might be okay everywhere else. So just sort of make a mental note, and obviously 2 centimeters or wider is classed as sort of more of a separation. If you're under 2 centimeters, it isn't. Okay, it's classed as okay. Now, one other thing that you just need to have a look out for is when you do an abdominal curl, is there any doming of the abdominals? So is there any sort of pushing out like a cone type shape as you curl up? And again, that can be a sign obviously that you're putting too much pressure on those abdominals. Okay, so as I say, please obviously get an expert to check if you're not sure what you're feeling for. But so there's basically 3 things that you need to be checking for. So the first thing is basically that gap, okay, but it's not all about the gap. What we also want to check for, that second thing, is how squishy is the sort of the feeling of what we call the linea alba, which is the connective tissue right the way down the midline. So if that's squishy, again, that can be a sign of separation. If it's sort of grippy and there's, you can sort of, feels quite bouncy and there feels to be quite a lot of tension there, and then again, that is classed as okay, as long as your separation, so the gap, is no wider than 2 centimeters. Okay, and again, you're feeling right the way up, right the way down. And then that third thing is, if you're doing an abdominal curl, is to make sure that there's no coning of the abdominals. Okay, so if you have any questions, please come back to me, and I'm here to help. Obviously, I am running a Pilates course specifically for obviously separation of the abdominals, postnatal, so again, that would be really, really useful if you wanted to jump on that to help in that healing journey as well. But I will post more tips. But any questions, please come back to me.